If you still think that Nike makes the best basketball shoes, you're living in the past. We've moved into a new era. We've got a lot of new brands entering the basketball shoe market, and we've got some brands that entered a while ago that are taking over the market. So that's going to be the topic of today's video. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucas. If you're new here, I'm a professional basketball player reviewing basketball shoes, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my reviews. With that being said, we're going to talk about the best basketball shoe brands in 2024. We're going to go through my top 5. Honorable mentions are also going to be included. So let's get straight into it and start with number 5 on my list, which is going to be Puma. They do make some nice shoes, but they kind of fell off a little bit after the MB1 hype. In my opinion, Puma's best shoe is the All Pro Nitro by far. The MB3 is decent, but they do have a lot of issues. As I said, the MB1 was a great first signature shoe, arguably one of the best first signature shoes on the market and even ever. The MB2 was decent, but also not as good. A lot of people had issues with them. Personally, I really enjoyed playing with them. I like the colorways, especially this one. And the MB3, as I said, they kind of fell off, really heavy. They are very supportive and the cushioning setup is nice, but the traction really only works on professional basketball courts. If it's a little bit dusty, they pick up crazy amounts of dust, as you can see here. So that's why they are at the number 5 spot. As I said, the All Pro Nitro is probably the best shoe, but all of Puma's shoes struggle a lot with dust pickup. Then at number 4, we have another brand that went back into the basketball shoe game not too long ago. We've got New Balance. I think their best shoe is pretty much up there between the Two-Way Volume 4 and the Fresh Foam BB Volume 2. I also like the Hezi Low, it's a nice budget option, but these two, this one and the Fresh Foam BB Volume 2, are really top tier performance. This one is being worn by Tyrese Maxey. Fresh Foam BB is not as present in the NBA. Zach LaVine wore it, but he's been injured for ages and currently the Bulls are trying to trade him. Nobody wants him, so it's not the best promotion for the shoe, but performance is actually really, really nice. Before we head into the top 3, we're going to go into some honorable mentions. Of course, we have Rigora, the AR1, a big success. They recently signed Brandon Podziemski to a signature shoe deal. It's debatable if even Reeves and Podziemski deserve signature shoes, but for a smaller brand like Rigora, it's everything they can do. They can sign top tier players, top tier names, and the performance is actually pretty good. And in my opinion, the design is amazing. I love the Velcro straps here on the AR1. They're releasing a lot of cool colorways. So in my opinion, they're doing everything correctly, but they're not in that top 5 level yet. Then another brand that's pretty good, but that's just not as good for me, Serious Player Only. They're definitely on their way up. They're offering Kobe alternatives. They have shoes with drop-in midsoles, actually even with exchangeable drop-in midsoles, which is very, very nice in my opinion. You can choose if you want more cushioning, less cushioning, more support, less support, you get it. The reason why they're not as nice for me is because those shoes are always relatively narrow, especially in the midfoot because of the drop-in, and I have crazy wide mid feet, or I have a crazy wide midfoot area. So definitely a brand on the come up, but just not as good for me. I love the little design features like here, the apple in the back. Really, really cool, and the performance is also great. Also very nice for outdoors. As I said, just not there yet in my personal opinion. Now, the number 3 on the list, it's going to be a traditional one. It's going to be Nike. They do make nice shoes. They do make good shoes. But if you're honest, kind of creativity is falling off a bit. The On Pearls are always the most hyped colorways. The Kobe's are the hardest to get and probably also their best performers. But after that, we're kind of falling off a cliff. We have a lot of shoes, but they essentially all look the same. Performance is nice. I do like that players are getting signature shoes. I do like what they're doing with colorways. But essentially, I know a lot of you are complaining that, for example, the Ja 1 looks like the Kobe 4, the Sabrina 1 looks like the Kobe 5, the Sabrina 2 looks even more like the Kobe 5. But I do want to make an exception for the Sabrina 1. Amazing performance, and I hope the 2s will be just as good. And essentially, I think their best shoe are Kobe's and the KD and LeBron line. We have the Book 1 as well. I like what they did there, but it's also essentially a copy of the Air Force 1. So creativity is definitely lacking with Nike basketball at the moment. And another brand that's also making a strong push into the top 5, even into the top 3, is Anta. I don't believe they're quite there yet, but with the Kai one, they really released an amazing performer. And they also have some other really nice shoes. Also the Klay Thompson line is great, but they're just not as available and not there yet. I'm saying yet, focus is on yet, because they're also definitely on the come up, making great shoes and great colorways. For the number 2 spot on my brand ranking list, I will go with Adidas. I thought long and hard about the top 2 because it was a really difficult decision. In my opinion, both brands are doing everything correctly at the moment. Adidas is everywhere in terms of marketing. We've got the Harden 8, really cool design. The AE1s, they really are eye catchers. The biggest thing about them is no branding apart from the heel. Same with the Hardens, it's even less branded. We just have the 3 stripes here in the heel. And they're releasing great basketball shoes. I was an even bigger fan of the Harden 7, really the first shoe that went into that mix of old school and futuristic look. And also we have the same branding just here in the heel, no other Adidas logo that you can see. Small one here at the top of the shoe, but you can't really see that if you're on court. I love the puffer jacket vibes. I also really like what they did with the AEs. They're also great for wide feet. So I was really debating if they're at number 1 or at number 2. The reason for them being at number 2 is because, in my opinion, the number 1 brand just has a wider array of shoes in different price classes, in different categories, and they're all extremely good. Of course, Adidas is making a strong push. If the Dame 8, the Dame 9 is going to be as good as they look, if the Dawn Issue 6 is going to be as good as they look, they could very well be going for the number 1 spot towards the end of the year. I'm going to make another video at the end of 2024, but right now in July of 2024, in my opinion, Adidas is at the number 2 spot. And now, finally, the number 1 best basketball shoe brand in 2024, in my opinion, it has to be Way of Wade. Of course, they are part of the Li-Ning family, so we can kind of count Li-Ning in there too, because the JB2 is really nice. I heard the Li-Ning Gamma is great, but I haven't been able to try all those shoes apart from the JB2, which are pretty good, as I said. So, in my opinion, Way of Wade just makes the best basketball shoes. I have the Way of Wade 10, probably the best shoe of all time, together with the Kobe 6, in my personal opinion. We have the All City line, currently the AC12. The AC11 Volume 2 was also an amazing performer, and as I mentioned, we have shoes in every price category, and that makes them so good, and they're also great for indoors and for outdoors. They're durable, they hold up well, they perform great, they look great, so in my opinion there's no downside to Way of Wade, just maybe the availability, because you have to order them at Way of Wade directly, so there's more shipping, more taxes to be paid if your country has a taxing system. But apart from that, they have shoes in every category. Highs go for 220. Then, if you don't like highs, but still want Way of Wade 10 performance, you get the lows, they go for 200. Moving down the list, we got the All City 11 Volume 2. They went for 160, they're on sale currently. And then we have the All City 12, also at 160. We have Kobe alternatives, probably the best Kobe alternative on the market right now. The 803 Ultra, here the drop-in midsole full length boom, which is Way of Wade's best cushioning setup. Reinforced carbon fiber in almost every shoe they have. We go down the list, we have the regular 803 with the 803 Ultra Volume 2. We have the Wade Shadow line, we have the Wade Vision line, which are essentially great for outdoors. The Wade Shadow has also got a very thin boom drop-in midsole. And then we have the budget line. We have one of my favorite shoes to currently play in, the Son of Flash, going for 160. Initially they retailed for 135. So really great shoes in every category, and their lowest priced shoe is the Wade Flash. They released in 2024 for $100. Great for outdoors as well. They're a mix of a performance and a lifestyle shoe, which is also really nice. So Way of Wade really thinks of everything, and they have a shoe in every category working well for outdoors and for indoors. And that's why, in my opinion, they are the best brand for basketball shoes in 2024. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. Leave a like, comment your thoughts. What brand did I miss? What brand should be higher up? What brand should be lower? Leave a like, as I said, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time for more performance reviews. Just a little follow-up, because I forgot to mention it during the video. Of course, for me, Jordan Brand counts to the Nike family, just like Way of Wade counts to the Li-Ning family. They have a lot of shoes they make on their own, but essentially they're owned by Nike. So in my opinion, they count for that number 3 spot, even though I don't like their shoes as much currently. The Jordan 38 Low is a top tier performer, but all the other shoes are not as good. That's why I counted them into the Nike family. Just a heads up if you're thinking about where is Jordan Brand on this list.